Hey, welcome to Newt Reviews. Today we are looking at the latest movie to drop in theaters, Free Guy. This movie is kind of revolutionary at the moment because it is the first in a while to drop exclusively in theaters. As we all know, movies have been either delayed on their release date or released via streaming or streaming and theaters, but this is the first in a long while to be only released in theaters, which I was happy to be back in, as I'm sure many of you are. This movie is directed by Sean Levy, written by Matt Lieberman, Zach Penn, and stars Ryan Reynolds, Jodie Comer, Lil Rel Howery, and Joe Keery from Stranger Things, Taika Waititi, and many others. And it was very bad. No, it was very good. But the trailer was very bad, and the trailer did not interest me in the least. When I saw the trailer, I could have cared less to see this movie. But as it came out and people started seeing it and reviewing it, it became clear that this was something special. And so I am happy to say I went and saw it, and it holds up. It was definitely worth the hype it was getting, or is getting, and it is quite good. It is a fun time. It is about a character played by Ryan Reynolds, who is a character in a video game. It's like Grand Theft Auto. This is the video game they're obviously trying to replicate. But you don't really realize what's going on for a little while there, and then you slowly start to put together something's off, and you find out he is an NPC in the video game, a background character that is programmed by the computer in the video game. And he becomes self-aware through a chain of events, which at first when that happened, it's very strange, but you're on board because it's done so well. But then through a chain of events that I found myself being more invested in, you find out that the real life characters that we have in this movie, the Stranger Things guy, Joe Keery, he is a programmer who made the code for the game, and he basically created artificial intelligence, AI, the first AI in our world, or this world. And that is the explanation for why Ryan Reynolds is becoming self-aware, becoming sentient in this game. But everyone else just thinks he's this master online player, and Ryan Reynolds does what Ryan Reynolds does is hilarious, and especially when he's given the chance to be this oblivious, innocent guy, it works really well in the movie. And he doesn't understand what anyone is saying. All these online players interacting with him, he has no idea what's going on or what they mean. Because in his eyes, this is life. This is the world he knows. And it's very interesting seeing how they make him realize that this is all a video game. I was curious about halfway through, how is he going to figure out that this is all a game? And I won't spoil that, I suppose, but it was done well how it all plays out. And the reason to why he becomes self-aware was done really well. The standouts for me, though, Ryan Reynolds was great. Taika Waititi was great, although I have issues, as I'm sure most of us do, hearing his voice and knowing that he plays Korg in the MCU and realizing that they are interchangeable almost, and they sound exactly the same. So I found myself laughing at a lot of what he said because he sounds just like Korg, and it just makes everything funny when you think about Korg and everything he says. But he was great other than that, and that's not even a complaint. It just honestly made it better, just imagining Korg saying all that, everything he said. So, but the standouts, of course, Ryan Reynolds was great. But Channing Tatum has some cameos in this movie, and they were amazing. He is this online character in the game, but you find out he's played by this nerdy 20-year-old who lives in his mom's basement, and it was amazing. You need to see it just alone for that. That is reason enough to see this thing. But the actual best part of the entire movie was, as we all know, I'm sure, the moment where Ryan Reynolds is fighting his better self, his counterpart that is just Ryan Reynolds' face on this super giant buff dude. And they're fighting, and at one point, the Ryan Reynolds pulls out. I keep calling him Ryan Reynolds. What Free Guy, the guy, blue shirt guy, and this is his character's name. Blue shirt guy pulls out the Captain America shield to defend himself, and the Avengers theme starts playing, and then it cuts to Chris Evans sitting in some cafe somewhere. It's just like 2 seconds of a scene, and he's looking at the gameplay, and it was just beautiful. And that alone was the best thing ever. The theater we saw it in, there was not too many people in the theater, but everyone was like, oh, and started clapping at that one moment. And that was just, it was amazing. It was beautiful, a beautiful thing to see. So that alone is worth seeing it for. In a lot of ways, this thing reminded me of Wreck-It Ralph, which might be a weird comparison, but just the whole video game aspect. And I'm someone who does like Wreck-It Ralph, so the fact that they are both video game movies, obviously one animated and one live action, but I feel like they are done really well in the whole idea of turning video games into movies, because we all know that can go very, very wrong very, very quickly. So it was nice to see it well done in the same way Wreck-It Ralph, I felt, was well done. So yeah, I recommend this thing. Go see it. Go see it in theaters. I had a great time. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Free guy.